Hello, this is Jared. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included. In this episode, I'm going to be getting the Movable Object achievement, which requires me to build a bunker door and have that deflect a meteor. As well as I'm going to finally be completing the Cluster Conquest achievement, which requires me to visit all planetoids. So I only have one left to visit. So I've got a rocket that's heading towards that direction. And as soon as it gets there, I will fast forward to that point. So I have arrived. As always, first thing I do, deploy some metal on the surface, choose a dupe that's going to do some exploring. They have a full work schedule in front of them. They are going to put on an exosuit so they can breathe. Going to choose a spot that's next to two pieces of lead so I can open. Oh, it's not. Okay, there we are. Excellent. Lucky at the far end. Actually, that's great because I see a room to the left that I think I want access to. So this is fantastic. Already, I got the Cluster Conquest achievement just by the Trailblazer landing. I didn't realize the Trailblazer counted as landing. I guess that makes sense. Always thought it was the rocket itself. But anyway, you learn things as you go. But yeah, Cluster Conquest. I've been working on that for a while, and now it's complete, so that's amazing. I'm going to land the rocket here because that's going to give me protection on the left side for meteors. And we'll see that, I'm sure, at some point those meteor showers start. As always, you need a ladder to go up there because that exosuit's going to run out of oxygen at some point. So the rocket is landing, and that's going to give me access to oxygen and food for my dupe that's exploring. It's not the best location because it's not in a vacuum. That means there's a lot of hot gas in the area, so not ideal. Current dupe's wearing an exosuit, so they'll be okay for the time being, but let's just make it a little bit shorter by removing those Trailblazer and storage spot so they can get up there. Okay, so I've got a couple things I want to do in this world. I want to build a bunker tile above the rocket. I want to dig into that world, into that room that's to the left. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some artifacts in there. So building the bunker tile, above the ship. That's going to give me two things. One, it'll protect the rocket itself. Two, it's going to give me the immovable object once a meteor strikes it. So just by building it and having a meteor hit it, that's how you get that achievement. Really easy. The difficult part is getting to this freaking world that I finally have gotten to. All right, so in addition to that, as I mentioned, I want to protect the ship, so that's why I'm building some bunker tiles to the right. Just dug into that world. There is 2 artifacts. I've got 8 so far, so this is completing my 10 terrestrial artifacts. I was really worried that I was going to have to go to the hot world, which I know has an artifact, but that is difficult. This is going to be a difficult dig to do. So this is going to avoid me having to go into that hot world and do that as long as I bring both those artifacts back home with me before I leave here. Okay. So the final thing that I want to do here involves the Volmol. And that's because I want to get the Critter Whisperer, which gets me to tame several different critters, including the Volmol. This is the last one, I believe, I have to do. So I've got my movable object. Meteor hit the bunker door. Boom! I've got another achievement done. Okay, let's see about this Volmol. All right, so I got the same idea that I'm going to do with the Gassy Moo, which was build a room inside this planetoid that has a grooming station. Have one of my dupes groom the Volmol while it's in there, and then have that eventually turn to domesticate it, tame it, so I'll be able to get the Critter Whisperer achievement. So get this room together over here. I can bring the Volmol inside of it. The only thing is it can leave the room. I was hoping it couldn't dig through tiles, but it can. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge because I could, you know what? I'm going to do the same idea that I originally had with the Gassy Moo, which was bring it inside the rocket. I couldn't do that with Gassy Moo because you can't wrangle it, but these creatures you can. So here's the idea. I'm going to bring it inside the rocket, and it can't leave the rocket. And yeah, like so. So I'm going to select multiple ones to be wrangled. Once one is wrangled, that's good enough. I just need one in there. Okay, so I've got my Volmol in the rocket. They can go around the different rooms, which is annoying. But I can destroy these doors, and I'm going to make the entire rocket temporarily until I get this achievement just one giant room. so that whoever has the critter skill, they can groom them while the vulnerable is in any section of the rocket. And I can even do this on the way home. I don't have to stay here. At this point, as long as I've got my artifacts, I've landed, I've got my Cluster Conquest achievement, I can go. So I think it's now time to think about saying goodbye. So it turns out this planetoid is the most difficult to leave once you arrive. Just be aware of that. So I built an automation wire on top of the bunker doors made out of steel. And the idea is that I can eventually build a switch that's going to open that door. But before I do that, I want to make sure wait for the meteor shower to finish. And 2, I want to dig out that regolith material that's on top of it, because I want that to fall as dug out material rather than in its current form, where it could bury the rocket. So that material works the same as sand. It's a filtration medium, and if you dig something underneath it, it can fall down in a similar way that sand does. All right, got a mini printing pod together, building a switch to eventually open that door. Those bunker doors don't require power. They're going to open slowly, but it'll be good enough for this mission. All right, the other thing is I want to make sure I get those artifacts together, or like on my ship, because if I get all this complete, I never have to come back here. And I'm noticing I've got 2 artifacts that are the same. I've got a mug on board and a mug on the world. So if I click, if I get this one mug to be put there, I can put in the second pedestal. They'll be forced to go get the second mug. All right, so a little bit of a complicated thing with the artifacts, but now I've got them. So the door has finally been open. I can choose my location to go back home, and I'm pretty sure we've got everything complete. All right. Okay, with that, I have the Cluster Conquest achievement. I have the Critter Whisperer achievement, and I have the Movable Object achievement just from visiting one place. So a lot done here. This next episode is going to be a long one. Well, it's going to be a long one for me to be able to get. I don't know whether necessarily the episode itself will be. But anyway, that is me going after the GMOAOK achievement. That's going to be fun. Anyway, hope to see you in the episode. Till then, Jim.